Okay, today is a special day. Um, this is, as I'm recording this, I don't know when it'll get uploaded, but I'm recording this on the evening of the 31st of March of 2022. And this is the 29th anniversary of I was sworn in at around 12:35 p.m. on March 31st of 1993. So almost 30 years ago, I was sworn in, and this is my U.S. Army, what we referred to as the Smart Book. I thought it would be fitting to do a review, as it were, of my Smart Book. Now, any of you that were ever issued one of these, you'll understand the 100-mile-an-hour tape all over it, because these things got pretty raggedy looking pretty fast. So you were typically instructed to protect it with some what we called 100-mile-an-hour tape, what civilians would just call olive drab colored duct tape. Don't know why I never understood the 100-mile-an-hour tape. I don't know if that was because high speed, low drag, if it was something related to that kind of lingo or what. But this book was issued to you as soon as you got into what they called reception. And was the one thing you were allowed to read other than a Bible or some other holy text during your time in basic training. So this is all about how to march in formation, how to maintain your M16A2, which was the carbine du jour, or the rifle du jour, and just all the standard stuff about how to wear your equipment, physical fitness, all of that good stuff. And I was really fascinated by this. I was probably one of the few people that got this, was like, hot dog, I got some free reading material. And I remember just looking through this, poring over this, trying to find the weirdest things that I could find in it at the time. So some of the weird trivia that I found in this that I thought was kind of weird again, this would have been, I went through basic training in the summer of 1993. So August, really starting in beginning of August I got graduated in October of 93. And so it's pretty hot. And when I was sitting around, this is what I would pick up to look at. And one of the things, I forgot where I was going with that, but one of the curious things that I found in this was the chemical biological weapons instructions about how to deal with chemical and biological sites, and recognizing the international symbols for a contaminated area. And I remember being really intrigued by the idea that it was talking about looking for mutations. If you see like mutated animals, that's a red flag, which probably goes without saying. But I found that interesting. There's certain little things you would read in this, and you'd be like, they wrote that because they knew that. So the military authors are not prone to speculation. So if they put it in here, it's because they knew that that's what would happen. So it made you wonder, like, what unholy things did these guys know about? But one of the curious little things about a nuclear attack is that the prominent thing that people think of when they think of a nuclear attack is duck and cover. And we were actually instructed to do just the opposite of that. And I'll see if I can find it. The proper etiquette is actually the reverse of that, where if you are in a foxhole, here's some good NBC tips of dodging nuclear or biological weapons coming down. But here you go. So the ideal position is actually on your back with your forearms and your knees up to protect you, because the idea was that when you're in the duck and cover position, that actually subjects your kidneys and some of your key vital organs actually to more radiation exposure. So, make of that what you will. They could have, there's no telling some of this stuff. You wonder, like, how effective was this really? But anyway, this I carried around with me, and just as further proof of my bona fides here, here's yours truly is in the right there. So anyway, good times. I saved my military ID. I'm pretty sure this is the one, that I've got framed, because they got my height and my weight backwards. They put your height in inches and your weight obviously in pounds, and they got it scrambled up. So I think they said I was like 150 something inches tall and 72 pounds, which I thought was hilarious. So anyway, little fascinating history about the Smart Book. I have no clue what is issued now. This is 1993, almost 30 years ago. There's no telling what they issue guys now and how much of this knowledge has changed. But this was one of those things you had to know pretty much everything in this book by the time you graduated, which wasn't very difficult to do because you had absolutely nothing else to do other than sit around and either read this or do whatever they were yelling at you to do. So anyway, I'm going to credit this. I'm going to make the executive decision of crediting this to the Department of the Army. I think that's how it's listed in here. But yeah. But at any rate, this is IET Soldier's Handbook. So, but I am going to call it for this review the Smart Book because that's what we called it. But anyway, this is my trusty Smart Book that I've hauled around with me now since summer of 1993. So there you go. Fascinating military trivia.